To wrap up the statewide and the county numbers, I want to give you some context, and he is a real estate expert, Bruce Norris, who follows California real estate very, very closely. He predicted the big run in the early 2000s, and he predicted the California crash, and he's made some other really good calls on the California real estate market as a whole. Bruce Norris is a big believer in watching the affordability number because it tends to be the closest statistic that correlates with the markets going up and down. Some people think when interest rates are high, prices have to go down, or when interest rates are low, prices have to go up. There's been actually basically zero correlation with interest rates and prices over the last few decades, which we can get into on another podcast. But Bruce has researched affordability with booms and busts with California, and he basically has said, hey, look, when affordability is high, like it was back in 2010 and 12, where 50% of the state can afford houses, you got to be buying with both hands. Where he finds that we peak in prices and get a pullback, he goes, the affordability range tends to top out, or the lowest number tends to hit around 17%. Now, the Great Recession, or the run-up to the Great Recession, we hit 12% affordability. And he said, we'll probably never get to that number again because we had liar loans, so it allowed people to fake their income. And we went past 17% affordability to 12% affordability. But he goes, generally, 17% affordability is when we tap out on prices. And again, looking at statewide, we're at 27%. So we're far from 17%. However, I would like to add, Bruce says, hey, look, underwriting standards for loans are harder than they've ever been. And he's also a big believer that with millennials coming to buy, they have income squeezes that past generations didn't have, namely college debt and childcare costs, because now that millennials both have to work, typically a household has to have both parents working to afford a home. Childcare costs actually weigh on what they can afford. So he believes that we won't hit the teens when we when we top out on prices, but maybe in the low 20s. So 20, 21, 22%, we are still sitting at 27% affordability, which is much better than where we have been in the past. So there's still some room to run. Affordability says we're not in a bubble. But if we start to get down to 25%, 24%, and Bruce's prediction comes out right that it's the low 20s, then hey, maybe it's something we think about more on pricing topping out, and there is maybe even a chance that it is the high teens for affordability, since that's tended to be what history has suggested. So I really think affordability is a big number for you to follow. I hope you got some value out of those numbers from statewide and countywide numbers.